𝐍𝐨𝐯 and welcome back to my channel. So, in today's episode, we are going to be finally ending step 3. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. I feel anxious, I feel panicky because I don't know what to expect. So, yeah. I feel like I want to cry. Like I said, I've just had such an attachment to this game and I've enjoyed it so much. I just don't want it to end. So, yeah. But before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button, share this with your friends so they can find out about my amazing challenges right now. So, yeah, let's get into it. I hope you enjoy. And then, summer ended. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I'm already messing up my words. Moths bounced against your window, attracted by the light of your room. A siren called in the slowly darkening sky. Just as the day was coming to an end, so too with summer. Liz will be moving back into the dorms before long. Luckily, Lee had been able to come stay for a short trip before her own new journey began. She had officially been accepted to her first choice college a few weeks ago. This was her last chance to see you all in person for... You flicked through the plans for the next few months, realizing you didn't even know when you'd next have the opportunity for everyone to be in the same place again. It was hard to think that you'd likely be seeing even less of your cousin going forward, but you were delighted she was pursuing her dreams. While you were still with each other, your family was going to have dinner together. As ever, the Holdens were tagging along too. You were going... Oh no, let's go to the tropical place. Didn't we go when we were kids with his mom? I think we did. You hadn't really discovered the tropical place until you were a little bit older. Oh, never mind. I guess it was the Chinese place then. But everyone's enthusiasm had resulted in so many visits that you made up for more... Oh my god! So many visits that you'd more than made up for lost time. Liz and Lee were excited to squeeze in another trip before setting off again. Technically, you were getting ready to go out, though your mind was only half on the task. It was a pleasantly warm evening, the kind that epitomized the vacation feeling, and you were in no mood to spoil it by rushing around. While idly gazing at your room, you spotted a small cluster of unopened envelopes that must have been left for you by a parent earlier. You headed over to the table to flick through for anything of interest. As a child, any correspondence felt exciting due to its rarity. You recognized that now most of it was mundane, but you were checking any mail you got more regularly of late. There was something you were expecting. You stopped at a crisp white envelope. The logo proudly proclaimed the sender, a school you'd apply to. Oh, you opened it instantly. You had to see what it was going to say, regardless of whether it was bad or good, as soon as you could. You pulled apart the glued flap on the front of the envelope and extracted the letter. Your eyes darted over the message, rushing past the pleasantries to get to the heart of the matter. The blood pounding in your ears deafened you to the world outside that was contained within these letters. Your heart skidded to a halt as you read your verdict. You've been accepted! Ah! Yay! We've been accepted to college! You were ecstatic. Bouncing on the balls of your feet, you pressed the letter to your chest as your excitement bubbled over. You make an announcement at dinner. Yeah, let's have everyone at dinner. You tried your best to finish getting yourself ready for the dinner ahead. It was a strain. Your mind had only half been on the task before. Now, with the news fresh in your mind, it was a struggle to concentrate on anything else. You kept having to recall your thoughts away from the future and back to the present. Time was against you. Mom soon called from downstairs that it was time to go. You had to check the time, sure that you had 10 or at least 5 minutes left. You were wrong. You tore down the stairs, attempting to juggle your composure among the hurry and excitement. Your moms, who turned to greet you as you arrived, swapped silent, knowing looks. They couldn't possibly have figured out what happened, or so you hoped. As your moms, they were pretty good at telling things without being told. You watched them hunting for any further signs that they were on the case, but none came. For now, it didn't seem like they knew what was happening. Not exactly, at least, but things were still definitely happening, and even if they didn't know for sure what you were cooking up, they could smell something in the air. Everyone piled into the car. While it was marketed as being suitable to hold 5 people, in practice, it made for a very tight fit. Your mom sitting in the front were fine. You, Liz, and Lee were squashed into the back, Lee in the middle, wedged between you and your sister. Oh my god. But Mom was an excellent timekeeper. Thanks to her efforts, you pulled up near the restaurant on time. The process of getting out of the car was slightly easier than squeezing into it, with much less coordination required to release seat belts than to secure them. You gave Lee a hand as she clambered out from the middle seat, then headed into the building as a group. A waiter greeted you as you entered. Ma let him know how many of you there would be in total, and he went to arrange a table that would meet your needs. He returned promptly to guide you to your seats. You perched comfortably in your chair, your head held aloft as if buoyed by today's good fortune. Your family settled down around you, all cheerful and looking forward to the evening ahead. Your drinks order had just been taken when the Holdens came through the door. They were pointed in your direction, though with Mom waving an arm in the air, it was hardly necessary. Cove and Mr. Holden came to join you at the table. As greetings were being exchanged, Cove took a seat opposite to you. It had been left empty by an unspoken acknowledgement that you and Cove would be wanting to sit together. Mr. Holden sat beside him. It's great to see you. Glad you can make it. Hello, everyone. You wouldn't believe how hungry I am. You came to the right place then. There was some laughter, though Liz groaned playfully, shaking her head at Mom's sense of humor. Growing up, she'd half complained, and Mom would have responded by making another comment. Liz had mellowed over the years, but she still made a show of despairing at Mom's jokes. Her reaction to them had become a joke in its own right. Menus were soon passed around, and a temporary hush fell over the table as everyone read. It didn't last long, punctured by comments about what people had eaten here before, and light chatter about what people were considering tonight. Once the waiters had disappeared with your orders, Clef piped up. So I've got some good news. Kira's making a trip out here tomorrow. Oh my god, we're gonna see Kira? Oh my gosh, it's been so long! Cove nodded, turning his father to the rest of the table. Yeah, we talked about it and figured this was a good time for everyone. That's great. Everyone reacted positively to the news, though Ma looked wistful. If only we'd known. Here we are having a meal without her. If we'd waited one day, she could have joined us. Mom petted Ma on the back, gently nudging her from the realm of possibilities and what-ifs, and back to the evening that was going so well. Chin up, Lee and Liz will still be here tomorrow. We'll just have to throw another get-together and keep the fun train chugging along. Aw. Ma smiled warmly, taking Mom's hand in hers. That's true. There's plenty to celebrate now, but there will be more good news and good times on the horizon. Right, and speaking of, that's not all we've got either. Mr. Holden's eyes were alight as he sat up straight in his chair, face angled toward his son. He barely let a beat go by before nudging Cove with his elbow, pushing him to follow up on the announcement. He was the very picture of a proud papa. Cove shied from the limelight, ducking his head down and staring at his lap as he spoke. Well, it's just I switched over to working full-time instead of part. What? Plus, I've been looking at apartments. There's a few I can choose from. What are you talking about? Why are you looking at apartments? He flicked his gaze up at everyone around the table, a smile creeping over his face. I'll be pretty busy going forward. Why are you looking for an apartment? Apartments. He was moving. Cove was moving out of his dad's house. After 10 years, he wasn't going to be your neighbor. Heck no, he's still being my neighbor. You're not looking for no apartment. Sorry, Cove. You're staying. Mr. Holden grabbed one of Cove's shoulders and gave it a loving shake. His excitement couldn't be contained. Incredible. Cove's actually going to make it to adulthood. It's a miracle. Yeah, but he's not moving, sorry. Mr. Holden leaned back in his chair, staring up at the ceiling in mock wonder. I wasn't convinced I'd be able to rear a kid all the way to this point, but thankfully I lucked out and got the best boy Dad could have asked for. Dad, that's cute, but you're not moving, I'm sorry. Cove blinkered his vision with his hands on the side of his face, temporarily blocking his father from sight. Despite his genuine bashfulness, which left him unable to meet anyone's eyes after all the attention thrust his way, he was happy. Thanks, I was really lucky too. You're a good dad. Aw, come here. Mr. Holden threw an arm around Cove's neck, pulling him into as close of a hug as the seating allowed. He rubbed his cheek on the top of his son's head while Cove chuckled, accepting the affection with good humor. As the spotlight thrust on Cove dimmed, you decided this was as good a time as any to make your own announcement. Can I share some news too? Of course. Lay it on us. I got my acceptance letter today. I'll be going to college soon. You what? When was that a thing? Oh, sorry, I didn't really want to talk about it before. Well, nice, Mina. I'm impressed, and we should have known you had something up your sleeve. That's wonderful, sweetie. Ma roped you into a hug, her arms quicker than any lasso. You were thankful you sat next to her. If not, you didn't doubt that she would have dived over the table to reach you in her excitement. Hey, let me in on the hug. Your mom's pinchered you in a hug, leaning from the chairs to squeeze you in tandem. Liz beamed at you from across the table. Good job, Mina. Lily didn't hide her excitement, clapping her hands in open delight. That's amazing. You're gonna be amazing. Aw. Mr. Holden gave you a thumbs up. Impressive. You're a good kid. The world's your oyster. Cove grinned at you from across the table. That's amazing. It's incredible. You did it. Congratulations, Mina. Thanks. No, seriously, this is really, really big, and you deserve it so much. Oh, and I feel kind of bad saying he isn't moving. Well, sorry, Cove. You're not moving. We'll just do it online. It's okay. You looked around at the faces of the company here. You've been on this journey with everyone here for years, seen them falter and grow, and they had watched you go through the same. Now you were striking out on a new path. Cove was leaving his family home, Liz was heading back to college while Lee was starting at hers. You were all heading in different directions to different destinations, some near and some far, but it wouldn't be long until you were all going your own way. It troubled you. Yeah, I don't want it to end. I don't want all of us to go our own way. You looked down at your lap, twisting the napkin in your balled fist. It was one thing to know this was going to happen theoretically, and quite another to be faced with the reality. Your family and friends had given you stability no matter what life threw at you. Realizing that they wouldn't be there in the same way was like putting a foot down on a chair that wasn't there. A chair? Oh my god, am I stupid? Putting a foot down on a stair that wasn't there. Your heart plunged as you sought to find metaphorical grounding. Cove brought some attention to himself with a clearing of his throat and a small interjection. I'm gonna stretch my legs while we're waiting for the food and everything. Sure thing, bud. With a tiny smile, he nodded at his dad, but the lightness to his expression faded when he moved to face you. Wanna come? He was attempting to be subtle, but there was very obviously something on his mind, something he wanted to talk to you about alone. You looked at him listlessly as he rose from his seat. You weren't sure if you felt like talking, but having an excuse to get some space didn't sound like a horrible idea, so you nodded. Take care. Okay, bye. With those parting words, the two of you walked about the place. He was trying to get as far away from everyone else as possible without actually exiting the building. What did you need to say? He hadn't admitted that was what this was about, but he didn't need to.
What's wrong?
Well, I was gonna say something about all that stuff my dad brought up. Are you okay? He peered at you, and you could tell his concern was earnest. You were being distant, and he had noticed. Why do I look okay? No, I'm not alright. Are you worried about things ending? He continued to look deeply into your eyes, but all you could focus on was the aqua blue of his iris, the concerned crinkle of his eyelids. You know I'm anxious about it too. You didn't say anything. You gave him nothing to go off of, but he could somehow still tell he wasn't far off. Cove's expression dropped. There was something horrified in his eyes and sorrow in his frown. Even when I'm not across the street anymore, you can always call or text. I don't care how late it is. We'll talk every day. I'll make sure we do. He clenched his hand around his wrist tightly. I don't want to lose what we have, Mina. His voice is quiet, barely a whisper. He paused to take you in, and then his voice came out louder but meek. This really matters to me a lot, more than anything else. What, our relationship? Wait, what? Wait, moving or our relationship? I think maybe he's talking about our relationship. I don't even know. There was steel in his eyes, a rare firmness that you didn't see from Cove often. You continued to feel upset. Your feelings had dragged down. You had no chance of calming down now.
So sorry.
I didn't want to make you feel bad but bring this up. Just, I don't know what they wanted. I mean, we could have moved in together. What are you talking about? But I felt I had to say something about this. If not now, then when? Out of the corner of your eye, you noticed a nearby table of people were staring. Cove's outburst had attracted attention. The eyes on you just made things worse. You felt overwhelmed, smothered by everything going on. You couldn't handle this. I need some air alone. Cove seemed pain, but he didn't protest when you brushed past him and left the restaurant. There was nowhere else to go but out. Sorry. You stepped onto the sidewalk. A couple cars drove by on the main street, and the breeze hit your face. You took a few deep breaths now that the conversation was no longer suffocating you. You weren't quite sure what to do next. Gaining space had been the only plan. You patted your sides on reflex and pulled out the spare key for your mom's car. Walking fast, you went down the sidewalk to the part of the street where your parents had parked. You remember going past a particular building on the way into the restaurant and managed to backtrack your way to the car without incident. You unlocked the car with a shaky push of the button. The headlights flashed. You pulled open one of the back doors and tugged yourself inside. You shut the door and the car beeped when you locked it again. While putting the key away, you switched it off for your phone. There were concerned messages from your family. Were you okay? Was something else happening? Or was something happening? Another text came in from your sister at that moment. You didn't respond to any of it and held down the power button. You looked back at your phone and stared at the black, blank screen. You could see part of your face reflecting back at you. Then you dropped your phone on the seat. You groaned. You couldn't help but feel frustrated. This was not how you wanted tonight to go. This was supposed to be a fun dinner, celebratory even. But maybe that was part of the problem. You didn't know if the future was actually something to celebrate. Then you tried to relax, empty your mind of worry, distract yourself or work through your emotions. Try to relax. You took a few deep breaths and tried to calm yourself down. It was hard to get around your feelings of dread. A few minutes passed by. You breathed in the quiet. The car started to get warm, but you didn't feel like turning it on to get the AC going or roll the windows down. You wanted to text Cove where you went so you didn't worry. Your family, you wanted to ask Cove to come see you, just wanted to sit there. I don't really want to talk to Cove, honestly. I'm kind of upset, honestly. Like, I mean, didn't we talk about moving in together before? Now he's just moving out by himself? Like, what the heck? You picked up your phone from the cushion and pushed the power button. It took a minute to boot up. There were plenty of additional messages. You sent out some quick messages so they knew you were alright. That was that. After a few minutes, you heard a tapping sound. You lifted your head up and your eyes met with your big sister's. Liz stared right back at you and raised an eyebrow. You hadn't expected her. What? She smushed her forehead to the window, mouthing something and putting down into the car. She wanted in. This wasn't exactly what you had in mind when you told him where you were. But whether or not you wanted her in was a mute point when she then jiggled a set of keys on the other side of the glass. Liz wasn't acting, she was informing. You slumped slower in the back seat. Liz walked around the car to the driver's side. Of course she thought to bring those. Slowly, deliberately, Liz took the spot at the head of the car and shut herself inside with you. She put both hands on the steering wheel. You could see part of her expression in the rearview mirror. She was thinking. Eventually, she twisted around so she could actually face you. She smiled thinly and leaned forward. What's going on? She didn't leave you time to answer. Her smile turned teasing. Is Cove's clinginess starting to wear thin on you? You scoffed. Yeah, right. You roll your eyes to further express your opinion. I'm sorry. She waved her hands and appeared actually apologetic. You suddenly noticed how awkward she was. It was a different look on your sister. She schooled her face into a more natural expression. I'll be serious. Since we know that's not it, are you going to tell me what it is or should I keep guessing? She said those words as if they were a threat. And you can't say it's nothing either. We wouldn't be out here in our car if you were fine. You drummed your fingers on the cushion below you. From the determination on your sister's face, you knew there was no getting out of this. Well, it was easier to ask what wasn't bothering you. Everything was changing, you couldn't stop it. It's not just Cove who's leaving. This is an ending. My life has changed and I can't help but forget a little. It's hard to deal with and it's just a reminder that I don't know if it will still be okay after this. Liz Holden gave a nod. She smiled with understanding. Well, that was my second guess. You snorted at the reaction to your distress. Hey, makes sense. I felt like that a couple years ago. It hasn't been that long since I was in your shoes. She absent-mindedly brushed some hair out of her face with a thoughtful expression. Sometimes I still feel like that. It's not like I've forgotten what it was like living at home with you and our mom, spending days with high school friends. I miss what we had then. She laughed a short smirk bark. I know I didn't always show my appreciation, but still, it wasn't that bad. You don't have to forget this time either. But knowing you've lost the way things were doesn't mean you can't be happy again. Life can still be just as good as it is now. In fact, it can even be better. How can it get better? I'm having trouble seeing a bright future here. Liz pressed her lips together as she thought. Miana, do you wish you were 8 years old right now? Is that the ideal life for you, worth giving up everything that came after? Not really. Exactly, and later on you'll feel the same way about being 18. It's great when it happens, but being like that forever wouldn't be. Liz turned away and started to fidget with her hair. She picked at the ends, detangling a small knot. She hooked her eyes on her hands. You know, you can do things on your own when you want to, but you've still got a family to fall back on. She looked up to meet your gaze again. You saw not only her seriousness, but also a rare softness. You were touched at her sincerity. And I didn't elect to make that statement on my own. You raised an eyebrow and she shrugged. The crowd thought a sibling talk would be for the best, but it's not like I'm the only one who cared about how you were doing. She tipped her head to the right and you switched positions so that you could see what she meant. Huh? What? Out the window, you saw both of your moms standing outside. Ma smiled at you and Mom laid. They started to head closer to the car. Ma opened a door and they both squeezed into the back with you. This is gonna make me cry. You had to scoop up your phone and sit up so they could fit. You ended up with your back to the car door, Ma sandwiched in the middle, and Mom on the other side. Ma reached over to pat you on the head, and Ma tilted forward so she could see you clearly from around Ma. Is there room for one more? You searched around but didn't see anybody. You stared at them in confusion and Liz cackled. Mom threw you a bone and gave you a significant glance behind you. You twisted your head around and jumped. Lee, oh my god, Lee. Lee had her face pressed to the window directly behind you. She smirked and then giggled at your shocked reaction. You were taken aback but managed to grin at her. You scooted further down the seat, almost sitting on Ma's lap to give Lee some space. She flung the door open wide and then attacked you with a squashing hug. You laughed when Ma hugged you from the other side. You were trapped in the warmest hug you could ever remember. Mina, you are my wonderful child and you will always have a home no matter what you decide to do or where you might end up going. You became hyper aware of a feeling in your chest. It wasn't just from being crushed in a hug either. Also, you can always stay with your cousin if you don't want to have to crash with your parents. I take offense to that. Mom joked, her eyes sparkled as she continued. What's wrong with visiting the old folks? Mina at least has to come home for the holidays. What would we do without her? Oh my god, y'all, I'm actually crying. Liz snored and you stayed calm. The hug. Lee squeezed you tighter. You teared up. You were surrounded with love. It wasn't unconditional and freely offered. You felt somewhat silly. Yes, there was a lot changing, but there was no way this was going to disappear. Your family loved you and wanted to be there for you. You just had to let them. I never realized how cramped the back seat was. Everyone laughed. This model really was not built for 4 people. As comforting as the embrace was, you were completely crushed. Okay. I need to wait for like the right moment. Okay, I think I got it. This is why I was smart and took the front. I bet you were wondering why I did that before. Now it's crystal clear. Liz stretched her arms out, showing off all her free space. Mom scoffed. You could feel her bounce in her seat. Harley, you're just missing all the fun. You look lonely up there. Oh my god. I love everyone. Ma chuckled and stretched through the small opening between the front and back. She made a grab for Liz, who dodged and shrieked. Ma! I didn't want you to be left out, sweetheart. Liz crossed her arms and met her with an unimpressed stare. Lee was snickering. Liz ignored her and reached out a hand to very deliberately pat you on the knee. There, jeez. Mom let out a glowing smile and patted Lee's arm back. Now the hug truly was a whole family affair. There. Finally, you felt better and you let them know you were ready to go back to the restaurant. You were released from the hug sandwich and everyone piled out the car. Back towards the restaurant, so two... Oh, okay. Can we go back to the car? Back towards the restaurant, the two Holden stood together. Cove looked particularly awkward as he fiddled with something in his hands. Lee whispered into your ear. Cove was out there the whole time. What? I think he just didn't want to interrupt us. Now his dad came too. Aren't they polite? Such gentlemen. True, but they better not have lost our table. I don't think that even matters now. Ma reached around and poked her on the side. Liz jumped even though you knew Ma's pokes were pretty mild. Don't say that. Whether we have the table or not doesn't really matter. What matters is that we're all together and safe and happy. Here, Lonnie. Mom cheered her on and waved her fist with enthusiasm. Liz sighed and rolled her eyes. A girl still gotta eat. Lee skipped up and hooked an arm around you. Your cousin offered you a beaming smile. We're not gonna know until we get there, so let's get going. Yeah, let's go. Your full group headed back into the restaurant. Luckily, your table was still reserved for you. You weren't exactly sure what Cove's dad had told the staff, but whatever. His explanation had been, everything worked out. You sat back down and were able to pick up the meal from where you left off, now with much lighter spirits. Night fell soon, and after everyone finished their meals, and before you knew it, you were standing in the parking lot saying your goodbyes and packing up the cars to go home. After the last of the chores were done, your family spent some more time together. You then had extra time and decided to... Yes! Call Jeremy! Oh my god! Call Jeremy! Oh my god, let's see how he's doing! Oh my god! It had been a while since you got his number from Shiloh, but you never actually attempted to reach out again so far. You thought this might be a good moment to go for it. You had absolutely no idea how this conversation would go. The furious boy you'd known was very different to the resigned teenager you spoke to this summer. You bit your lip, wondering what side of him you'd see this time. Your first call ended unanswered, but you at least expected that much. Jeremy certainly ignored the unknown number. You reached out, waiting for him to pick up. Another extended dial tone sequence. The sound was finally replaced with a slow yawn. Hello? What's up, bowl cut? But you're actually doing this. Haven't you suffered enough? There was none of the fury which he'd rained down in the past, only bewilderment. I just wanted to see how you were doing. Sigh, why is this happening? You knew that he knew what led to this call. You didn't have to explain. He proved that shortly after with a real sigh. Whatever. Did Shiloh ever explain his lying self? Yeah. I've kept my distance. I would too if I could. The conversation came to a halt. You asked him a question. Been on these streets? Is everything going okay for you? Nope, life is misery. You laughed. To your surprise, Jeremy piped up with a question for you. Are you that bored, or do you honestly have some kind of interest in me as a person? I'm interested in you. You're an interesting person. Wow. Then you heard another yawn coming down the line. You better stop asking me why I talk to you now. You expected the call to end there, even had your thumb hovering over the button to finish the call, but Jeremy's voice stopped you. I think it's weird we actually talk to each other yet again. It makes no sense, but it's not worth having a problem with. Bye. Oh, okay, bye. With that, he hung up. It had gone better than expected, and there was a truth in what he said. Who would have thought you'd reconnect like this? Life was full of surprises. You didn't have a problem with it either. The rest of the night felt like it was going by in a blink of an eye, and somehow the time had came to retire to your room to sleep. You pulled your covers up under your chin and settled down for the night, getting warm and cozy. As your head sank into your pillow and you closed your eyes, your mind drifted back to everything that had happened that day. You could see it all now behind your eyelids, as though you were experiencing it all over again. And then the image of Cove popped into your head and you smiled softly to yourself. Oh, we can sneak out to his room? I mean, okay, fine. Let's just go. If Cove could do it, then Then you didn't see why you shouldn't be allowed to. You made your mind up. As quietly as you could manage, you put on your shoes and slipped out of your room, closing the door behind you softly. Heading slowly down, you took care not to make the floor creak, especially the boards right by the bathroom. Those definitely squeaked. The stillness of the night made even the slightest noise seem so much louder to your ears, and you were very aware of your mom sleeping nearby. Upon reaching the bottom, you tiptoed towards the front door. Slipping out into the crisp night, you shut the door and took a relieving breath. Excitement rising, you dashed across the street towards Cove's house. The road, too, was surreal at this hour, familiar and yet strange. It might have been eerie at another time, but with how eager you were, you hardly cared. You attempted to find your way from the normal footpath to the side of the condo, but the limited light was making it difficult. You knew for sure which window was Cove's, and lucky for you, was on the first floor. Unlike Cove, you wouldn't have to do any building scaling. All you needed now was to make it safely over the fence and past the bushes without being caught or injured. Sneaking closer, you glanced over the hedges towards Cove's bedroom window, finding it cracked open. Perfect. You wouldn't have to knock and worry about him not answering. Hoisting yourself up with ease, you cleared the fence and avoided the shrubs and darted over to the window. You buzzed with a nervous excitement as you approached it in the dark, having successfully made it all the way here unseen. Lifting the window up so it was fully open, you pushed yourself halfway through, your legs dangling into the underbrush below. It was a little awkward as a small shelf was right in the way. You had to take care not to knock over a couple of plants, but you made it through with minimal noise. Once safely inside, you dusted yourself off and turned back to close the window gently, with only the soft glow of moonlight and Cove's fish tank there to see the way. You gave a small wave to your favorite fishes, the one you named and the one you had given Cove as a gift. Both looked to be doing good. Then, straining your eyes through the dark, you crept towards Cove's bed, barely making out the sleeping figure beneath the covers. By the sounds of his soft breathing, you could tell that he hadn't heard you come in, and a small smile tugged at your lips. You left him to sleep and sat beside him. He looked so peaceful as he slept, you decided you didn't have the heart to wake him up. Instead, you took a seat on the edge of his bed and watched him affectionately, matching your breaths to his own deep breathing and smiling down at him. You weren't sure what you were going to do now that you were there, but you were happy to be near Cove all the same, even if he was asleep. Your gaze drifted around the darkened room. Even though in daylight hours you would recognize it, the darkness made it seem just a little bit different and intriguing. Your eyes stopped for a moment on the fish tank against one wall, and you watched his precious pets float around for a moment. Finally, you settled on the window. Maybe you should just head home. You contemplated, trying to make up your mind, until Cove stirred and rolled over, bumping right into you. Huh? You turned just as his eyes fluttered open, still heavy with his sleep, and he looked right at you. Oh, sorry. What? He pulled his covers up under his chin and rolled over the other way, settling back in. Oh my god. You snickered quietly to yourself as you sat there. He could figure it out on his own, and after a few more seconds he did. Wait, Mina? Yes, I'm here. He shuffled under the covers and set up to stare at you in alarm. Why are you in my room? What happened? A smile slipped onto your face as he finally registered your presence for real. I didn't want to be alone. He frowned, his eyebrows pinching together in concern. Is everything okay? Putting a hand on your shoulder, he locked eyes with you. Yeah, I'm feeling better. He sat back a little, giving you a fond smile. I should have known you'd do this one of these days. It's only fair. You let out a breath, feeling relieved that he didn't seem bothered by it. In fact, it felt kind of good. You thought maybe this enthusiasm was why Cove did it so often. He pushed himself up fully, swinging his legs over the side of the bed, leaving a spot for you beside him. His hand shook where he held him in his lap. He was nervous. You can stay as long as you want. Aw, really? Yeah, really. Can I stay the whole night? Of course. You smiled, feeling relieved that he had agreed, and he grinned back. You could always count on him. I've secretly slept over in your room before. It's fair you get to do it too. You snickered, feeling pleased with your decision to do this. Oh, okay, but there's no way I'm letting you take the floor this time. Here we go again. You rolled your eyes and let out a soft laugh, which Cove returned as he rubbed at the back of his neck. I want to share. Can you try to stay? What? His eyebrows stiffed. He was growing visibly nervous. It was oh my god, it was to be expected. But after what happened last time, you've been waiting for another chance. You hoped he felt the same, and he seemed he did. Yeah, this time we can share. You'll really stay? You won't leave to be on the floor? He nodded, holding back your delight. You tried not to grin at his sudden resolve. We're gonna share the bed. You could hear the tremble of Cove's voice as he held his hands together to keep them from shaking. He let out a breath and shook his hands in front of him, mentally preparing himself. It's gonna be alright. His mouth set into a grim line and he balled his hands into fists at his sides, determined. You stay calm. You simply waited for him to ready himself and gather his nerves. It only took a couple moments longer before he turned to you, attempting a weak smile. Ready? Yes, let's get in there. He took another deep breath and you slipped under the covers, making room for him to get in after you. Laying as straight as a steel rod, Cove tensed up beside you, so still he was barely breathing at all. You rested on your side and faced him, your eyebrows pinched in the middle as you watched him, and he looked back at you deeply. Do you need more time? I can leave until you're more set up here. No, please go. No, please don't go. I just want you to stay with me. Ever so slowly, he began to relax, his fingers tentatively brushing up and down your arm, his eyes shut, lashes fanning out over the top of his cheeks, and you still half expected him to run away like the last time. But he didn't. He stayed right where he was. You don't have to worry about me. Doing stuff like this isn't a problem. It's a process. You nodded in understanding, even though he couldn't see it, giving him time to let his nerves settle. After flapping up your pillow and getting yourself comfy, you stayed quiet. Eventually, his shoulders became less rigid. With his eyes open, he smiled and turned his head towards you. Thank you for waiting again, as always. Aw. He laughed shyly, his soft eyes meeting yours through the dim light. Are you okay? I'll always wait for you, Cove. He squeezed your arm a little tighter, his lips curving into a smile as he looked at you in awe. He shuffled closer an inch at a time and nuzzled his chin against the top of your head, wrapping his arms around your sides. You let him hold you like that. The safety and warmth of his arms enveloped you, and you exhaled a contented sigh of your own. The room grew quiet around you. The only sounds to be heard were the fiery crash of the ocean waves and your breath mingling in the small space between you. Cove's heart was pounding, the thump of it rumbling through you as he spoke again softly. You know, I'm not scared of you, right? It's just so many other things that scare me. I'm afraid of what-if hypotheticals that aren't actually real, but I think about anyway, and of the nebulous concepts of what things mean that I can barely explain even to myself. I'm scared of my own feelings and how much I feel them. And I'm afraid because tomorrow things will be different between us, but I'll be alone again. He held onto you tighter, his breath stuttering ever so slightly. It's normal right now to see you during the day and part ways at night. Except for special occasions, oh my god, exceptions. A little laugh escaped him before his tone became serious once more. It's easier to stay where I am than it is to make myself move, to not take a risk, and to know what I might be missing. But he hesitated, and you reached up to brush a few strands of hair from his face gently, his eyes slowly fixing on yours. When did doing the easy thing get so hard? When it comes to you, I don't know how to stay still. I just want to keep taking steps forward. Honestly, when I see your face or even imagine it, I want to start sprinting. But when I try, I hit a wall. It's just like I physically can't do it on one side of my mind. There's something blocking me. And then on the other side, I absolutely can't stop myself from doing it. It never ends well. I hate it. It's the most frustrating thing. Why do I do it every time? I'm annoyed with the way I am, so I have no idea how you stand it. I'm sorry I act so split when it comes to romantic things. I do not want you to think we're rushing me when I know I'm giving mixed signals. Oh my god. And I don't want to miss out on being happy like this, but sometimes I still can't help it. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm glad you've never given up on me. Aw, it means a lot. It means everything to me. Oh, Cove! You've been there when I really needed it. Oh no, don't stop crying, no! His eyes glossed over a little as he squeezed you closer to him and smiled, his heart rate finally relaxing to a normal rhythm. Good night, Mina. Good night. He leaned forward and kissed you tenderly, his hand gently moving to cradle the back of your head. I love you. Oh, I love you too. Ah, you were still smiling as you snuggled into him, getting as close as you could. Cocooned in his warmth, you easily grew comfortable next to him, feeling him ease into you as well. Before long, your eyes were going heavy and you drifted off in a restful sleep side by side. The next morning, you were lost in a comfortable dream until a loud noise startled you awake and your eyes flew open, wildly searching for the source of the sound. It was the door opening abruptly, and in the frame stood Mr. Holden smiling brightly. We're not here. Don't look at us. He hadn't seemed to have noticed you straight away. Get your butt out of bed, sport. Mom's here. Oh. Hi, Mr. Holden. All of a sudden, the two of you made eye contact, and he froze where he stood, the smile slowly slipping from his face. Well, that's not what I usually walk into. I clearly should have knocked this morning. Good morning, Mr. Holden. Morning, Mina. Cove blinked his eyes tiredly and mumbled something incoherent before turning towards the door. Both you and Mr. Holden stared at him for a few moments, neither knowing what to say or do. Cove, who continued looking at his dad dozily, was obviously having a hard time trying to process the situation. Then his eyes widened. Dad? Cove scrambled on the bed in an attempt to get to his feet, pushing the covers back off of the both of you. Forgetting there was an overhanging ceiling above him, he shot upwards and hit his head on the wood. Ow! He flopped back down on his pillow, pressing a hand to his head and groaning loudly. Cove! You reached out towards him instinctively. Cove, bud, are you alright over there? Mr. Holden stepped further into the room, his eyebrows furrowed in concern. He bent down towards his son. Yes, please just go. Okay, I'll leave. Cliff held his hands in front of him in a calming gesture, even though Cove couldn't see it. He turned to make his exit, but stopped abruptly in the doorway, obviously deciding he had something more to say. What? I know we've talked about this before, but I feel like now is one of those times to mention that I was barely older than you when I found out. I was like, wait, Daddy! No, that is not what we did. Oh my god, all we did was slept together. We didn't do all that. Oh my god, Mr. Holden, just if there's anything you need to say or ask about, we're not getting kids yet. Oh my god. What has this turned into? Oh my god. He let out a heavy sigh, running a hand over his face before stopping himself and saying calmly, you know what, it's fine, we'll chat about this later. Kira is awaiting. Kira's here! Oh my god! I forgot! With that, he stepped back out of the room, giving the two of you one last look before pulling the door shut behind him. Cove rubbed at his face before dropping his head into his hand and mumbling between his fingers. Oh my god, oh my god. That was so awkward. Tell me about it. With a heavy sigh, Cove forced himself to sit up again. He frowned hard, staring over the closed door. Sorry. I guess we can't just hide in here now. He gave you a sidelong glance, and despite his displeasure at the situation, a small smile quirked his lips. It's too bad. It had been really nice. Aw, too bad is right. I hope we'll get the chance to do this again soon. You found yourself smiling along with him. The two of you took a few minutes to get up properly and get yourself as ready as possible before heading out to see Kira. Hi, Kira. Kira was patiently waiting in the living room. She was in high spirits with her eyes set on the hallway. Her amused smile only widened when you and Cove froze. Hi, Kira. We were together, obviously. I just came over and stuff, so yeah. It didn't take long for the realization to sink in that the scene must have been loud enough for her to hear even from there. Cove tried to look unimpressed, eyes narrowing over Kira's smug delight, though his face is like turning red. His mom hadn't even said anything yet. He squared his shoulders, lifted his head, and strode forward. Hi, Mom. Hi, baby, and hello, T2 Mina. Her tongue cracked in her green, then she just gave in and laughed, unable to keep any of it in. Cove frowned at that, his eyebrows furrowed. Sorry for the interruption. I didn't know you already had guests. His frown wobbled as he became even more embarrassed by this moment. He couldn't muster up any words to defend himself. Hi. As Kira slowly composed herself again, you raised a hand to wave. All you could really do was smile. Cove was still unable to say anything, other than his teeth biting into the inside of his cheek. He stood there frozen. Kira studied you both for a moment. It's okay, my not so little mister spreading its wings. I can't complain about that. Oh my god. She lightly tapped the tip of his nose. That got a tiny smile out of Cove. Despite being much taller than Kira at this point, he still seemed like a little kid in front of her. You released the air you were holding in your lungs, and then Kira's gaze locked onto you. You know, we were just about to go over to see Pam and Noelle. Are you two coming? I'll go. He stretched his arms for a moment and yawned, trying to physically shake off what happened. Yeah, that sounds good. Great, let's do it. It was then that you noticed Mr. Holden standing on the other side of the room. You figured he must have been trying to create some space for everyone during that last conversation. You could tell he felt a bit awkward, but he tried smiling reassuringly as he scratched the back of his neck. His attention went to Cove. Bud, do you want to get changed first? Cove looked down at his pajamas for a moment. He shook his head. No, we don't have to wait for that. Are you sure? It's only a trip across the street. I'm alright. Besides, Mina is going in PJ's pajamas too. Fair point. Cove then leaned in closer to you. He grumbled quietly. And your mamas are gonna figure out what happened anyway, so yeah. Away we go. Let's just make up some excuse or something. We don't have to tell them, you guys. We don't have to. It's okay. And we didn't do, you know, that. With that decided, the four of you headed out across the street to your house. It felt strange waiting there while Mr. Holden knocked on the door. Hi there. Mom answered the door and her expression brightened even more seeing Kira there. She pulled and moved Kira into a hug when her gaze fell on you. Nina? Hi, Mom. When did you get out there? Why are you still in your pajamas? Mom's eyebrow raised when she gave you a deep, examining stare. Meanwhile, you and Cove shared a slow side glance with each other. Before you could answer, more heads popped into view around the doorway. Ma, Liz, and Lee were all chuckling. To be honest, I always assumed Cove had been the one sneaking around. Her eyes sparkled with amusement. You had to look away. You noticed Cove's face was burning red again. It was a solid theory, Lonnie. Most likely they've been both breaking and entering. I wouldn't put it past my baby. He takes after his parents. You're right. I can't believe my Mina has been getting up to all that mischief too. I mean, we learned from Cove. Mortified. Cove looked like he wanted to disappear while the adults chuckled and discussed what you and him may or may have not done. Well, we didn't do what y'all think we did. Fortunately, they left the conversation there. Oh my god. Enough of standing around out there. Come on in. Mom must moved aside to usher the group in and guide them to the living room. Before anyone could get settled in, Mom spoke up. You're all welcome to stay for breakfast. We still have some great spices and stuff from the farmer's market. Oh, we do? Yes, we'd be thrilled to host you. There were eager nods from Mr. Holden and Kira, but Cove looked around the room filled with familiar faces before speaking up. Maybe instead of staying here, why don't we go to the beach? A scenic picnic, eh? Mr. Holden crossed his arms and contemplated that idea happily. Excited, Kira clapped her hands together. Oh, we could really make a day out of it. Might as well enjoy the ocean while we can. That sounds lovely, Cove. Everyone else put in their own agreement with Cove's suggestions. Before long, both families dispersed, getting everything ready. Sandwiches had to be made. Water, sunscreen, towels, and more needed to be gathered and packed. Plus, you and Cove both took some time to get dressed for the day. An hour later, both your family and Copes were walking down the old path to the beach. The morning was already turning into a bright, beautiful day. You honestly couldn't ask for better weather for a beach trip. The moment you laid your eyes on the full view of the ocean, you stopped and stood there mesmerized. It didn't matter that you grew up there. The sight always filled you with wonder. Hey, Mina? I was thinking about calling Terry and Miranda, see if they can come too. Everyone else is pretty much already here, so would your family mind? That'd be cool, I asked them. You were already so excited at the prospect of seeing your friends today that you immediately darted in the direction your moms went. Behind you, you could hear the familiar sound of Cove laughing. I have a question. Would it be alright if Terry and Miranda came by? I don't see why not. Ma looked to Mom to see what she thought, and she nodded in agreement. Mom then shot a glance over at Holden and Mr. Kira, knowing that they had likely heard everything. Cliff, Kira, what do you two think? The more the merrier. Okay. Of course, they're welcome with me. Thanks. Alright, let's call them. Delighted, you nodded and turned on your heels. Cove was still several feet away, talking to Lee and Liz, likely about the same topic. With a beaming smile, you gave him a thumbs up, and the two of them must have also approved, as Cove quickly got his phone out and started making the calls. At that, you turned your attention to helping with the picnic setup. Unexpectedly, your phone started ringing. You dug it out, curious to see the caller ID. Feeling your heart jump with excitement, you answered. It was Derek! Oh my god! Hey, it's been a while! Oh my god, Derek! Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! We haven't seen him since that too! Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god. Seriously, but what's up? The voice that came through was much deeper than it had been when you first met, but it still had the same exact amount of enthusiasm of a kid. Have you been enjoying these crazy summer days? Yes. It's been amazing. That's awesome. You'll have to catch me up on that. But what about you? How's your summer been? You were beyond curious to know what Derek had been up to since the last time you spoke. He chuckled, noticing your invested tone. Honestly, I've just been slammed with stuff lately. College applications and scholarship inquiries. What else is new? They'll all be desperate to have you. I bet you're even more than the last time I saw you. Laughing, you knew that you didn't need him to know the answer to that. Derek wouldn't be Derek if his free time didn't revolve around sports. Charlie, I'm gonna be so buff you won't even recognize me. What about your family? Are your brothers doing good? Oh my god, my little brothers are little punks, but I guess they're doing alright. You both laughed at that. It was easy to imagine the grin on his face. Mom and Dad are fine. That's great, my moms are too. Turning your attention back to the surroundings, you smiled warmly at your family buzzing around. Towels were laid out and chairs and umbrellas were being set up. Actually, I'm out with my moms right now. Liz and Lee are here visiting too. Oh, that's fun, but if that's the deal, I'll let you get back to it. Are you sure? I don't mind. I'm sure. I'm not about to lose your number. Okay, bye. Bye, Mina. Have a heck of a day. Bye, Derek. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Yay. Oh, my God. We talked to Derek, you guys. Oh, my God. Holy crap. It's been so long since we've heard from him or, seen him. My mind is blowing up right now. Oh, wow. I think that's gonna be where I leave today's video here, everyone. Leaving on a good note of talking to Derek very briefly once again. After, forever. Oh, Lord. Okay. But yeah, everyone, that's where I'm gonna leave today's episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have enjoyed this so far. Just recording for you guys. But yeah, everyone, that's all for today's video. Hope you all enjoy it. But lastly, you're a gem. Thank you for watching. Wonderful day, everyone. Bye.